Hello everyone. Wow, already got lots of comments. Let me take that away. Oh, Joe Crow, it's not for you today. Making birds for the other ones. You've had enough food. Let's pop you over there for now. Right, let's see who's here. I might have to put these up actually. It's harder to see with them on than off. Oh, loads of comments. Isla's here. Good morning, Isla. Kit in Hedgehogs, good morning to you. Oh, Mrs. Thomas. Hello, Mrs. Thomas. Good to see you. Who else we got? Maya's here and Jacob. Or is it Maya? Sorry if I said that wrong. Willow and Foxes. Bonnie's here. Freddie and Flo are both here. Hi, Freddie. Oh, and Erin. Good morning, Erin. And Amelia and Sammy. Oh, gosh, there's lots of Robins here this morning. Fantastic. Good to see you, Robins. And Zach, too. And Luke from Badgers. Oh, so many of you are here. Good morning to you all. Gosh. Be here all day if I say hello to you all. So I'm sorry if I don't say hello to all of you this morning, but just know that I'm sending you a big hello from my sunny garden. Welcome to my garden. This is Mr MacInnes' garden, and I've been working really hard in my garden over the holidays. I was telling the Robins in my emails just how hard. It wasn't this tidy before. Maybe I'll show you a bit later. It's very tidy now. We've been planting lots of things as well in order to try and keep growing lots of food and loads of nice stuff like that. Let's just say a few more shout outs, see who's here. Jessica and Squirrels and Justin and Owls, hello to you. Freddie and Rabbits is here. Matilda and Florence, good morning to you. Gosh, loads of you. Excellent. Oh, I'm so happy to see so many people. Well, this morning, what we're going to be doing is we are going to be making some bird feeders. Really simple, really easy stuff. Hopefully you've all managed to get the ingredients that I put out beforehand, but don't worry if you haven't, because this video will stay on Facebook and you'll be able to make them another time along with me. Won't be live, but you can still do it then. And it will also go onto the YouTube channel as well if you prefer to watch it that way. So there'll be plenty of opportunities to make if you're not able to do so today. But if you are, hopefully you've got some of these toilet roll tubes. I think they're very available in the shops again now, so hopefully you will manage to get some of those. You should have some, can you see in here, I've got some bird seed, very simple bird seed, available in supermarkets. This one came from a well-known supermarket. You can probably hear some of the birds already swooping in. They probably heard the seeds there. That's herring gulls. We get a lot of herring gulls here where I am. But if you listen really carefully, you can probably also hear some sparrows in the bushes. They make that little chirping sound that you can hear right now. There's some sparrows there. Morning, Olivia and Florence too, and Anina and Badis. So you should have some bird seed. You should have some toilet roll tubes, and hopefully you managed to get some lard. Now, for me, being a vegetarian, I've got a bit of a love-hate relationship with this because obviously it's very good for the birds. It's full of fat and full of energy, which they need in order to survive well in the wild. However, being a vegetarian is obviously made from animals, and it's a bit gross for me. However, for the benefit of the birds, I'm going to use it. Don't worry if you haven't got lard, though, because you can also use peanut butter. It does the same job, and it's full of excellent fats and protein for the birds as well. So if you haven't got lard, you can use peanut butter. I've also brought out with me a bowl full of soapy water so that I can wash my hands if needs be. Well, almost certainly will need be, because this gets quite mucky, I'm afraid. But don't worry about that, because we are resilient raccoons. We are positive pandas, and it doesn't matter if we get mucky hands because we can wash them straight away afterwards. Anyway, so what we're going to do first in order to feed our birds, excuse me, is get one of our toilet roll tubes. We're going to start to get a little bit mucky, and what we're going to do, we're going to get some lard, and it's easy if you cut little bits off like this. So if you haven't had time, I'll just give you a few minutes to do that, and smush it up in your hand a little bit so it's nice and warm. Mine's been out in the sun for a bit, so it is quite warm and gooey. And then just really smear it in. Can you see what I'm doing there? To your toilet roll tube. Completely, try not to crush the toilet roll tube, but just completely cover that toilet roll tube with as much lard as you can. I'll try not to go too fast, whoops, so that you'll be able to do it along with me. So we really want to coat the whole thing in as much lard as possible because it's really, really good for the bird. So literally just smush it in. You can see big chunks of it on there. That doesn't matter. We want that really. So just get that all totally smushed in there. Blech. Gooey. I'm assuming everyone's still here with me. If I touch my laptop, I might make it a bit lardy. So I can't really see any more comments at the moment. So I'm assuming everyone's joining in. They've sort of stopped. Oh no, there goes another one. Felicity from Hedgehogs. Hello to you. So I know we're still here. Excellent. So I'm going to really coat that in. I'm going to get a bit more and really get that in to that toilet roll tube. And hopefully the whole thing will be covered in lots of lovely oily fats for the birds. So that's the simple stuff. I think that's probably enough now. Looks like it's pretty well covered. Hopefully you can see that well there. Ugh. It's all over my fingers, not to worry. Okay, put some of that back. When we've got it completely smeared in like that, we want to see it, make it really, really white. In fact, I'm going to make it even whiter than that. I want really it to be as white as possible so we can't see much of the brown anymore. That's the best. And then you get lots of seeds will be able to stick. Oh, you might have heard my cat just snuck down into the garden. That's not going to be good for the birds. They won't come while he's here, but he's obviously interested in what I'm doing. There we go. That's looking pretty covered in white now, in lard. I think we're ready to go with that. So, doesn't matter about my hands. As I say, we're going to wash that. I'm going to put the lard to one side now. Now, here's my seed. I've already filled a bowl full of bird seed to make it easier. Morning, Connie. I can see you there. And morning to Esley as well from Robbins. Fantastic stuff. Oh, I could see Mrs. Loring's asked me, what's my cat called? My cat's called Twinkle Toes. Yes, Twinkle Toes. He was named by my sister. So it wasn't my choice of name, but I think it's a good name for him because he is quite a cute cat. He's not a good hunter. He never catches anything. I think the best he's ever managed to catch is a grasshopper. He tries to catch the butterflies, but he can't even do that. I'm quite pleased about that, to be honest. It means the birds have got a fighting chance in my garden. So, if you have managed to get your bird seed in a bowl, hopefully you've done that now, I am going to place I'll just move that down so you can see what I'm doing. Ugh, now the laptop's covered in grease. Ugh, never mind. I'm going to place that into my... Can you see what I'm doing there? I've placed it right inside where I want the seed. I'm just going to roll it in there. Some of the seed is going to stick to my hands. It really doesn't matter. And then I'm going to try and completely coat that in seed. I want to really get it in there good so that all the space is covered up with seed because we want as much seed on there as possible. Jiggle it out in there, really shove it in. It's coming off on my hands more than the bird feeder might. Try it that way. Poke it in. Oh, that's good. Poke it in the other way. That is looking pretty good now. I might even scoop some up and pour it on. You're going to get covered in bird seed and lard. It really doesn't matter. That's why we wash our hands afterwards. Brilliant. That's looking pretty good now. I think Mrs. Hutchinson would be proud of that. Robins in my class have done this before. Some of them anyway. We made lots of different kinds of feeders. I can tell you how to make some other ones in a little bit. But right now we're just doing this really simple one. So when you're done, you should have something that looks a little bit like this. Can you see it? Covered in as much seed as possible. Now, I'm just going to put that to one side because I think I'm going to make another one, because as many as possible in the garden, we can put them in lots of different places so the birds have got lots of opportunity. And I'll talk to you about some good places you might want to choose to put them in a minute. Don't worry if you haven't got a garden, because you can go and hang these up in the woodland somewhere, as long as you remember where you put them, so that later on you can go back and collect up the discarded toilet roll tubes, because you don't want to leave any litter anywhere. You can hang them in the trees in woodlands or local areas near you, and you can go and collect your litter afterwards. Morning, Miss Dyer. Hello to Twinkle Toes from Miss Dyer, the best cat in the world. That's absolutely true. Thank you, Miss Dyer. And morning, Bethany. So, should have something like that now. I'll just lift that up again without getting grease all over it. There we go. Something that looks like that. Let's put that to one side. Shall we make another one? Why not? I'm just going to wash my hands in my soapy bowl so that I'm ready to start again. I'll give you a few minutes. If you haven't got a bowl of water, you might want to run inside, rinse off the bird seed that's all over your hand so that you can start again. I even brought a towel out with me, very organised. Super duper. Shall we do another one? Oh, just going to have a... Oh, no, that doesn't work at all. I thought I might be able to see you better, but actually it's just much, much worse. Should have known that, really, shouldn't I? Oh, there's Twinkle Toes. What's he up to? Looks like he's got his eye on me, actually. He was digging around in the bushes for something, but now he's just looking at me and wondering what on earth I'm doing with these things in front of my eyes. He probably thinks I'm pretty crazy. What else can we see? I can hear we're listening. There was a bird singing a minute. Did you hear that? Somewhere over in the bushes over here. We've got some lovely singers this morning. I'll speak to you about the different birds you might be able to identify and the ones you might be able to hear in a little bit. Right, let's make another one. I'm going to get some more of that icky lard, and I'm going to smush it again, same again, chunk like that, or you can just grab some off in your hand, warm it up a bit, good up. Doesn't matter, we can wash our hands. We'll squash it all in there. I think Twinkle's interested in where that bird is. He's gone over there and that bird has stopped singing now, so that's the problem with cats, you see. Right, can you see what I'm doing there? Really want to make it as white as possible. We're going to get this covered in seed as well. You can see that's getting covered in white. Or if you're using peanut butter, of course, it will be a different colour, but you want to get as much of it on there as possible. Really thick. You want it really thick on there. Yeah, that's looking pretty thick now, pretty gross. That's the way we want it. Oh, I've just remembered, today is a very special day for one of our children at Pashley Down. Now, I'm not sure if she's watching, but if she is, today we need to say a very big happy birthday to Alyssa in Squirrels. So happy birthday to you, Alyssa. Shall we do the song while we do this? It's fun to have a birthday when you're at Pashley Down. Everyone is happy and no one wears a frown. How old are you? How old are you? How old are you today? Oh, I think I heard 5. Better do 5 claps there with your mucky hands. Are you ready, everyone? Ready? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1 for luck. 6. Ah, now that's all over my hands. Fabulous. That's exactly what we want. Okay, that's looking pretty good. That's really covered in stuff now. So it's exactly the same routine again. Once it's really, really smeared on there, absolutely covered in the stuff, you want to dunk it back down. Let's move that back down with the clean part of my hand. You see the bowl? Dunk it back down in the bird seed. Get as much bird seed on there as possible. Turn it over. Get some more in there. Dip it. Cover it. You could even pour the bag over the top of it if you want to. And sprinkle some on there. I can't tell if you can see what I'm doing at all now because I've tilted the screen down, but I'm just assuming. That's looking pretty good. Oh, it's going to be a good one. If I was a bird, I'd be quite excited to see that. Excellent. Oh, easy stuff. There's mucky, it's fun, it's nice and easy, it's a lovely day, the sun is out, the birds are singing. What could be better? I can even hear a bumblebee right now, very close by, somewhere nearby. Okay, that's looking pretty good now. So, once you've done that, you will need to put it to one side. There we go. I'm going to try and avoid getting muck all over my screen again. Tilt you back up. There we are. Wash your hands. And hopefully now you've got 2 bird feeders made, ready to go. Now you can carry on. If you've got loads of toilet roll tubes, you can make as many as you want, because the birds are going to absolutely love it. Wherever you put them in the garden, you can make some more later on in the holiday. Later on while we're working from home, or whenever you want. Dry my hands, and you'll have absolutely loads to feed those birds with. Oh, I can see Mrs. Loring says she saw a robin on her walk to Morecambe yesterday. Absolutely fabulous. I love robins. They have a beautiful song, and they're one of the birds that sing all year round. You can always hear them. I heard one in the garden not that long ago, just a few minutes ago. So I've definitely seen a couple of those in the garden. This bush, I don't know if you can see it behind me here. There's a rose bush. Every morning early on, get sparrows and different kinds of tits on there, because the bush is covered in greenfly, aphids. I'm not very good at getting rid of those. I need some ladybirds to get rid of them, because they'll eat them up. But the sparrows and the great tit that was on there this morning, they like landing on there because they can pick at the aphids and eat those off. So I quite like those coming in the morning. Right, this is what we do now. Now we've got 2 bird feeders. We need to find a good place where we're going to hang them up, where we're going to put them. Now there's 2 ways you can do this. It's optional. String, you can thread some string through the tube and tie it so you've got like a chain to tie it up with. You can use, I've got tassel ribbon here, some like present ribbon. That's a good thing you could use for that. I've also got some garden wire you could use. You just put it through the middle and you can tie it up. But you don't have to do that. That's optional. You can put some through the wire or the string like that, and you can sort of hook that together. Making a mess now with mine. This is tough stuff, actually. I might need to make a long one. There we go. You can hook that together a bit, so you can make a hanging feeder, or you can just slot these onto branches on trees, and they won't fall off, and the birds will love it. So I'm going to find some good locations now. Now there's one behind me here, and if you can see, there's a hook hanging on the wall. We used to have a bird feeder hanging on there, but it got broken, and they haven't been able to go and replace it because obviously not many of the shops are open at the moment. So I'm going to hang one up there, just here, I think. Perfect. Hopefully you can see that there. That's a good location for the feeders, actually, because there's a tree nearby, so some of the smaller garden birds have got somewhere safe to land. They could look out to see if there's any predators or danger about. They can go to the feeder, and then if they feel unsafe, they can nip back to the trees. So it's a good idea to hang your feeders somewhere where you've got some shelter around for the birds. But obviously you want to be able to see it as well, because you want to be able to see the birds from wherever you're watching from if you can. So look for a location somewhere in your outside areas where you can hang your feeders, where there's some shelter or some safe spaces nearby for your birds to hide in. So I'm going to take this other one, I'm going to hook it somewhere on a tree over here. If you can see, just turn you that way a bit. Pop this here. Looks like a pretty good location. That's a good location, I think. Excellent. So that's a simple way you can make bird feeders. Very, very simple. Hopefully you've been able to join in doing that with me. If you have any questions or you want to ask me anything, you can post it in the comments and I'll see if I can answer your questions, either about making feeders or about birds or anything like that. I can see Elliot saw a chaffinch singing on his walk on Saturday. Lovely bird, the chaffinch. Lovely rosy coloured area on its chest there. Beautiful bird. There are lots of other ways you can make bird feeders. You can make more permanent ones than those. If you use an old milk carton, you can cut the top off turn it the other way around where the handle is. You can fill it full of seed and you can hang it up, which is quite a good way of doing it. One of the ways we did in the robins, if you cut an orange in half and then you scoop out the inside, the good bit inside, so you're just left with the skin, and then you can fill that full of fat or seed or different things, mealworms, things the birds might like to eat. Poke some holes in the side with a sharp implement like a skewer or something like that. Grown-ups might need to help you do that bit. And then you can thread some string or some pipe cleaners through there so you can hang it up like a little hanging basket full of goodies, and you'll see birds come and land the orange and actually snacking on the goodies inside. So there's lots of ways you can do this. This isn't the only way. I just fancied showing you an easy way that you could do. Hopefully, when you've done those and put those out, if you find somewhere where you can see the feeders, but you're in a secluded spot, nice and quiet, where the birds maybe won't notice your presence. Maybe if your kitchen looks out in your garden, for example, you might be able to see what's going on with those feeders. I'm going to set you all a bit of a challenge today, so that later on you can comment back with what you found. And I'm going to ask you to spend a bit of time, it's up to you how long you choose, an hour, half an hour, whatever suits you and your family, of just watching, quietly looking, seeing what visits your garden, because this is really brilliant science, observational science, for you to have a look out for what bird life visits your garden. And actually, it's amazing information. The RSPB is always asking people to have a look out for what bird life visits their garden, so they can keep a track of what birds are doing well and what birds might be struggling at the moment, what numbers are going down and what numbers are going up. So if you can have a look out for a period of time, as I say, an hour or half an hour, however long you choose to spend, and just record what birds visit your garden, maybe even visiting your feeders that you've made, and then later on you can comment back with what you saw and the numbers that you saw in your garden. And that'll be an amazing bit of science for you to do. Observational science, bird watching. You don't need to have binoculars, but if you got some and you see some birds that are a long way away, if you've got a long garden or something, oh, it's got a bit tight, I'm going to choke myself if I'm not careful, that's better, then you can have a look out for them using your binoculars if you've got some, but you don't need them, you don't need anything. All you need is your eyes to see. And I can see some people have seen some amazing birds already. I can see that Hermione saw a heron flying over her garden. That's amazing. A heron flying over your garden. That's a big bird as well. They make a loud sound with their wings when they're flying. You may have seen herons in the park. They stand very, very, very still above the water's edge, waiting for a frog or a fish or something to swim really close to them, and then bang, they're in and they get it, because that's what they like to eat. They're really cool birds. So you are very, very lucky to see that. I can see Esley has seen an orange bird last week. I wonder what that could have been. I have to do some thinking. So it's kind of hard to identify birds. Sometimes we see some and we might not know what ones they are in our garden. So got a little bit of a quiz for you now. I've got one of my favourite books. All bird lovers need to have a copy of something like this. Got this as a member of the RSPB. And it's a handbook of British birds, the kind of birds that you might see in our country. Fabulous book. It's full of loads of great information about different birds. And I thought I'd just do a little quiz for you. I'm going to turn to a page at random that I've already marked for some of the most common birds that might come and visit your gardens. I'm going to show you the picture, and then we'll see who can comment first on what bird they think it is. You think you're ready for a bit of a challenge? Give me some thumbs up if you think you're ready for that challenge. Oh, good. I'm glad you're enjoying yourselves, Anina and Badis. I can see Miss Cox there. You had a visit from a magpie with a broken leg. Oh, Finn and Oscar, you're doing a really good job then taking care of that magpie. When birds have injuries like that, it's very hard for them to survive in the wild. So you need to do as much as possible to help and support that magpie, and hopefully he or she will keep coming and visiting. That's really lovely that you're doing such nice things like that. Amir from Rabbits says she loves looking at the birds. Oh, and you get a dove in your garden, a white dove. Fantastic stuff. That's amazing. Okay, I've seen some thumbs up, so I reckon some people are ready for a challenge. Let's see. I'm going to turn to one of these pages at random. Oh, it's an easy one to start you with. An easy one. My class are going to know this one. I know they are. Very common bird. Can you see that? I don't know if you can see it. Yes, you can see it. Very common bird throughout the country. Wonderful red breast you can see. Let's see who's going to be our first contest. Sings all year round. This one down here is a juvenile, a young bird of this species, and the male and the female look quite similar. There's the males you can usually hear singing because they are warning the males. Oh, we got some straight in there. I can see that it looks like Mrs. Mansa, so I'm assuming that might be Freddie, was the first one in there with a robin, but I can see Cox is also there. Oscar and Finn got robin. Connie got a robin. I can see that lots of people have got robin. Absolutely well done. So that's brilliant. Yes, I can see that Violet said guess Elliot's guessed robin. Ziggy says it's a robin. You're absolutely right. Everyone who said it's a robin, well done. It is a robin. As I was saying, it's the males you can hear singing, and they're usually telling the other, not always, but often you can hear the males singing, and they're usually telling other boys to get lost and go away because this is their area and they don't want any other boys or any other robins in their area, and they'll actually fight other males to get rid of them out of their area. They're aggressive actually, but they are a beautiful bird, so well done if you got robin there. That's a common bird. You may well see that in your garden today while you're doing your watching, or wherever you go to do your watching. Let's have another one. Oh, okay. I reckon some of you will be able to get this one. They're very common. I can hear one right now. You can hear that chirp, chirp. That's one of these species right here. You can see them. They've got a sort of grey cap, this type of this species anyway, and brown plumage. And they usually hang out in big flocks in the bushes, in the trees. They're quite noisy. But as you can see, the header of the page here is written in kind of orange colour. Oh, Mrs. Laura, straight in there. Sparrow, well done. Absolutely right. Oh, and Ziggy, you were very specific. Very specific. You said tree sparrow. I can actually reveal that it is a house sparrow. But well done having a go. Tree sparrow. We do have two common types of sparrow in the UK. House sparrow is this one here. And the tree sparrow is actually on the other page. It looks like this one. The difference between a house sparrow and a tree sparrow, if you notice the males of the house sparrow has a grey cap on its head. This is the female, looks very different to the male. The tree sparrow, the male and the female look very similar to each other, but they don't have the grey cap on their head. So that's one way you can tell them apart. They sound quite similar as well. But well done, it is a sparrow. And I was saying it's written in red up here because actually sparrow numbers are declining. So they seem quite common. They're very common around here where I live. But actually their numbers have been declining for quite a long time. There's not as many around as there used to be. And it's a bit of a mystery. Scientists don't know why. So if you see sparrows in your garden, house sparrows or tree sparrows, that's really good because it means that your garden is a great place for sparrows. So that would be really good to look out for. Well done. Lots of people got sparrows. Henry got sparrow. I can see Olivia got a sparrow. Harry got a sparrow. Excellent stuff. Well done. Where should we go next? Ooh. Okay. Now that is, I think somebody commented earlier saying they saw this one. Not that one there. We'll turn it around in a minute. Somebody commented earlier saying they saw this one, so they might recognize it. Okay. Here we have the male up here. This is the most common sight. When you see it, you might recognize it. I mean, best like that. The female is down here. It's like, can you see that here? Slightly duller in color, but the male has that lovely rosy chest and the red face. Beautiful song. Somebody said they heard it sing. I can't see if you can see that. I think you can. There we go. Let's see. Oh, Ziggy was straight in there. Absolutely right, Ziggy. It is a chaffinch. Fabulous stuff. Well done. It is a chaffinch. So some of you might see some of these guys in your garden today. Keep a look out. They're one of my favorites, actually. Or let's do a couple more. And then got something else for you. That one's quite tricky. I picked a tricky one there, didn't I? Must be an easy one. Now I know lots of you live in the Old Town area, and there's loads of these in Old Town. They fly in huge, great flocks at times. massive flocks over the tops of your heads, roosting in the trees, making an absolute racket later on in the evening. And they're kind of cool, though. I think I have a lot of respect for these guys, the way that they sort of march around and puff their chests up. They remind me of tough lads looking tough, marching around. They're not a scaredy bird. They're quite a bold bird. You can hear some herring gulls overhead there again. They make a really big noise when they're all together in their groups. I can see Ruby says that often. I think that must be Mia's mum. Often get blue tits and robins in the garden. Fabulous stuff. Oh, Ziggy, you're on fire today. So quick. Ziggy's in there straight away. It is a jackdaw. Well done, Ziggy. They're a member of the crow family, the corvids. So crow is extended family there. Well done. We got said it's a jackdaw too. Excellent stuff, Peter. Connie was in there with jackdaw. I can see Miss Cox loves jackdaws. They are really cool. They're really smart birds, the corvids, the crow family. So jackdaws are part of the corvid family, ravens, house crows, many others. They're the smartest birds, along with parrots as well. They're pretty smart too, obviously. But they can do amazing stuff, corvids. They're really clever. They can work out puzzles and all sorts of things that you wouldn't expect. You can see lots of stuff on YouTube if you look for crows doing puzzles and things like this and trying to get food out of traps and things like that, cleverly set up by scientists. They're amazing birds, and I've got a lot of time and a lot of respect for these guys. That you'll see a lot of those in Old Town. I imagine you'll probably see a lot if you watch out for them today. Okay, let's do one more. I'll try and make it a tricky one, I think. See how you get on. I can see somebody's commented they get loads of jackdaws. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Brilliant. Seagulls and starlings mainly in our garden as we're in the town, says Luke. Yes, I get a lot of starlings too. I love those, actually, starlings. They are one of my absolute favourites. And some people might consider them a kind of a dull bird, but not me, no. If you look at them when the sunlight hits them, and they have that amazing green flash on their feathers, iridescent feathers they have, where they shine green in the sun. They're amazing. And they're really clever mimics, starlings. They can mimic other birds and make some amazing sounds. If you watch again on YouTube, you can hear them copying other birds or kind of like beatboxing. They make some great sounds. And the best thing about starlings is, in the autumn and earlier in the winter as well, you go to certain places like the pier just before the sun sets, just as the sun is setting. It's even better at Brighton, the old pier that's crumbling and falling into the sea, the West Pier there. You can see these massive, great murmurations, it's called, where the starlings get in a big group and they swoop one way and they swoop another way, and they all seem to be doing it in sync together. It's absolutely amazing. I well recommended a visit to go and see those when we can all go and do things again. And yeah, one of my favorite things to see. So let's have one more. See if I can find a tricky one that I have. Ooh, okay. No, I don't think this is too tricky. I think a lot of you will get this one. But I'm going to show you, first of all, the female of this species. Oh, because the female of this species can catch you out a bit, I think. This is the female down here. Can you see it? If I angle it better for you. It's the female of the species. Okay, browny coloured. You'll see these birds usually on the ground. They're ground feeding birds. They hop around and they're looking for worms and insects and all sorts of things. And they'll be gathering those up probably to feed their young at this time of the year. So you'll see those mostly on the ground. So if you're doing your bird watching later on, don't forget to look at the ground as well, because lots of birds are ground feeders. Okay, I'll show you the male now, and I think you'll all get it. So the male and the female, look, can you see it? Oh, I can't get the angle right. Ugh, is that better? Let me open up the book. This one over here. Oh, Finn was straight in there. Well done, Finn. You're absolutely right. Finn was the first person. It is the blackbird, and you can see how different. This is the male here, and this is in the first year. So this is when they've got their adult feathers. This one here. You can see the male and the female are very different looking. So sometimes people think they're completely different species, but they're actually blackbirds. It's the male who's actually black, though. So well done if you got that one, because I tried to make that a bit tricky. That's amazing stuff. Yeah, I really love blackbirds. They have one of the most beautiful songs that you'll hear at this time of the year. Beautiful singing, and often a blackbird will do some wonderful singing, and then a robin will follow it up, trying to sort of copy it a little bit. So listen out for that. That's kind of a cool thing that goes on at this time of the year. But they have an absolutely amazing song. Love it. So well done. Loads of people said blackbird. Ziggy got there again. Peter got blackbird. I can see Elliot got blackbird. Connie got blackbird. That's amazing stuff. So you might see some of those birds while doing your bird watch later on. If you don't recognize a bird, that's fine, because that's where the science comes in. Now, there's lots of different things out there to help you recognize birds that I can recommend to you. So if your grown-ups have got a tablet or a phone or something like that they can download apps on, this might be something you want to do before you do your bird watch later on. There's an amazing app I'll show you that is called Merlin. I'll show you. Merlin. Can you see that? I don't know if you actually can see the screen or not. You might not be able to see it, but it's called Merlin. It's an absolutely free app because it's made by a university group in America. So it's not for profit, absolutely free. And you can say the location where you spotted the bird. It asks you some questions like what kind of size it was, what were the main colours you saw, whether you saw it flying or soaring, whether you saw it sitting on a fence, whether it was in the bushes, whether it was on the ground. And then using the information you put in, it will come up with some recommendations. And they're pretty accurate. I've used it quite a few times. They are quite accurate. I've tested it out. And usually it's the first or second recommendation. It spots it straight away and it says, I think what you've seen is this. But there'll be a list and you'll see photos. And what's great about it is it also shows you the males and the females and the young, which can be different colours and look slightly different. So you can scroll through the photos and you can say, actually what I've seen there is a female of this species, or those kind of things. So Merlin, amazing app. If you don't recognise a bird, I recommend that. You have to make sure you download the right pack, the British birds pack, not an American birds pack, or you'll get different results, obviously. But I can definitely recommend that. And another fantastic app. It's free initially. I think you have to pay for it eventually if you keep using it again and again and again and again and again. But it's free for quite a while. It's called Bird Up. Bird Up. I can show you. Is it going to work? It looks a bit like this. If you can see that, I don't know if you can. I think you can just see a black screen on my phone, so don't worry. But remember the name, Bird Up. When you load it up, there's a microphone on there. You tap the microphone. You have to be really still and really quiet, because if you move around a lot, it gets confused. And if there's a lot of wind and background sounds like lawn mowers or cars, it struggles a bit. But nice and quiet right now. If I put it on and try and record some of these birds, we can see if it gets it right. It's not playing ball today. That's my voice it's going to pick up now. Oh, no, it says it's recognised the sparrow. And it did. There was a sparrow singing there, chirping. It works best. You can change the settings on it to make it more sensitive or not, but it works best when it's really quiet and when you're quite close to where the bird is making the noise as well. But it did pick up a sparrow there. So there's two apps that are quite good if you're into trying to recognise your birds. Now, I hope that's been helpful. Before I go, there's a few more things to say. First of all, we've already done a happy birthday, but I know that tomorrow we've got a birthday coming up. It's Orla in Owls. She's going to be 7 tomorrow, so happy birthday, Orla. Let's all say a big happy birthday to Orla. You can post it in the comments as well if you want to. And Robert in Moles, it's his birthday on the 26th. So is that Sunday? Tomorrow's Friday, the 24th. Yes, so that must be Sunday. So happy birthday to Robert in Moles for Sunday as well. I really hope that you have amazing days and that you have really happy birthdays, whatever you do. And let's hope that the sunshine stays, because that's going to be brilliant. If you're into watching your birds the weekend, that's going to be an amazing thing to do. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope you had fun. If you've made your feeders, don't forget to hang them out somewhere where you think would be a good place for the birds to be able to get some shelter and get in for a snack. And hopefully I'll see you all soon, and take care, stay safe. Remember to keep positive, stay responsible rhinos, stay resilient raccoons, do your best. And on Tuesday, I think you can tune in at 2 p.m. Miss Cox is going to be doing a live broadcast for you there. I'm not sure what she's going to be doing yet. It's a bit of a surprise, I think. So very exciting. So have a lovely, lovely weekend and enjoy your day today. Remember, in the post later on, you'll be able to share with us what birds you saw and how many different birds, how many different species, how many of each bird you saw as well. Bye everyone, take care and see you soon.